Now you can bring it to, you can start the meeting. I'll make him bigger over here.
Morning, Brian.
Morning.
Morning, Brian.
Morning.
Okay, now he's not gonna see you guys because the cameras were.
Can't.
You have to be over there.
All right, you can do that.
I think you can still see them big enough, right?
Yeah, I can see
Good.
both.
Perfect. Perfect. And they can see you.
Super. Good morning. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. And thank you guys for allowing this to be a virtual meeting. As I said on the phone, I'm taking care of my father today, and that's becoming a little bit more comprehensive than we originally thought a year or two ago. So.
No problem. So Brian, I think you and I talked about the first part of this meeting we're gonna do as a public selectmen's work session meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of review what the process will be that MRI is gonna use to do the fire chief hiring process.
Yep.
Then at the end of that, we will go into a non-public where we can talk about some of the candidates and the reasons why they may not be suitable.
Right. And at that point, Audrey, I'll need to share my screen in a way that the board can see what's on the screen.
Okay, perfect. I'm just recording this for the public portion of it. And then I can give the screen to you for the non-public.
Okay.
There's no public here, by the way.
Okay. You guys draw a crowd, huh?
All right, floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so Chuck, we've talked several times, but for everyone else, I don't know if I've actually met Audrey or the other board members. Is the other third board member on via Zoom or?
No, Tom Hart's not gonna be able to make the meeting today. And we have
Okay.
Lenny Espy here, Lenny's.
Yeah, Lenny. Okay, sounds good. So good to meet you, Lenny. I'm Brian Duggan, Director of Fire Services for MRI, coincidentally an Effingham resident. And I've gone through myself about a 40-year fire service career. I usually describe myself as a recovering fire chief in step 3 or 4. But I grew up in Massachusetts and became a call firefighter, an EMT. I was an EMT for 40 years. And then I was either a firefighter or a chief in 5 different departments, ranging from call departments and volunteer departments to fully career departments. I ended up serving 28 years as a career fire chief, 10 in one organization, 18 in another, and retired out of there about 4 years ago, which is how we sort of ended up in Effingham. My daughter located in the Maine area, southern Maine area. And we decided Western Mass was a little bit too far. So we started a search and ended up here. So that's just a brief overview of myself. For MRI, I've actually worked for them for over 20 years doing different projects. And in the last several, this is a full-time endeavor. And the footprint of the company, it's a New Hampshire-based company, but really has a New England footprint, especially in public safety. And to that end, we've developed the fire and EMS portion. It's really fire, EMS, emergency management, and public safety telecommunications to have a dramatic number of projects throughout New England and now sort of expanding down the East Coast. So that's a thumbnail sketch, probably more than you ever wanted to know about me or the company. In terms of the process, just to bring everyone onto the same page and for public session, what we proposed is we'd assist the town, and being a resident, I tried to provide a significant discount that I'd do most of it myself. And with that in mind, we'd start with the job description. We'd cull from the job description, what are the key qualifications, what are the key experience levels that we're looking for, and then develop ad copy and get that out. And I think we were pretty successful in that I honestly expected that we'd probably get maybe 5 or 6 applications. We get 11. And I can tell you for full-time chiefs positions, I just did one down in Merrimack, New Hampshire, another one in Northern Mass, that we were lucky to get 18 for full-time positions. So we ended up with 11 applications being filed based on that ad. And a lot of that was, I did a lot of outreach to members of the fire service through my own network in the area. And we asked that it be posted in every station. We asked the chief for help here. We posted it and got some good distribution, I think, and that really generated the candidates. Since we closed the candidate solicitations or allowed them to apply, that was December 15th. I've had my team go through and evaluate the resumes that we hold in confidence. We've scored those out, and I'll share that with you when we go into executive session as we want to discuss sort of some of the candidates and make some decisions. But with those, we scored that, and then I conducted telephone interviews with each of the 11 candidates. So that's sort of the juncture we're at now. We've also provided a recommendation, and Chuck, I believe you said that our recommendation was endorsed by the board for the fire chief review committee or board. So we're ready to go. What we need to do is sort of walk you through the process of the individual candidates and then make a recommendation for who will go to that board. And then that board will convene and interview those candidates and make a prioritized recommendation back to the board of the top 3.
Perfect.
So that's a summary. Any questions for things at this point?
That's similar to what we used for the police chief role now, and did that to the independent board and then the top 3.
So you've already called out basically a few of them. All 11 won't be going to the board.
That's correct. There were some that didn't, for example, follow the instructions or complete an application properly.
Yeah.
There were others that didn't have appropriate experience as a fire officer. There were a couple that it was clear everyone was from New Hampshire in one way or the other, but some were further out. And when I talked to them, some indicated that they would make accommodations or relocate, while others, which I was actually surprised given that it's not a full-time position, but others clearly said they just sort of run it from afar. And then there was, I remember one gentleman I talked to who really had no knowledge whatsoever of Effingham or the challenges facing the department. So we'll go over all of that. One thing I will need is once we make the decision of who will go to the board, the other candidates should get from the town either an email or a letter saying no thank you. And I had emailed Audrey back this morning just saying I'd need some help. That's something that where they applied for the position in Effingham should come from the town.
Brian, do you have a template for that particular thank you letter?
Well, I probably can find one. One of my staff people usually does that, but I can shake the tree and see if we can find one.
If you've got something you can lay your hands on as an example and forward it to Audrey, that'd be great.
Yeah, or Audrey and I can talk through it and just come up with that very quickly.
That'll work too.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay, so you want us to go into non-public now?
Yeah, so if there are no further questions for a public session, we can go into non-public, and then I can share my screen and we can talk about the individual candidates, which at this point are just the original submissions. They're not even considered semi-finalists, but I just wanted to make sure everything was shared transparently with the board.
Good.
So motion.
All set. Make a motion to go into non-public.
I'll say that.
All those in favor, for the ride?
All right.
Okay, give me a second to move the computer and stop the recording.
Okay.